All right. Well, it is time to turn our attentions to the land of WWE and the land down under, Nika, because we have WWE Australian World Tour happening right now. We have big things happening. We have SmackDown, we have Crown Jewel on Saturday, and we have Raw on Monday, all happening in Australia. It's like the Australian WWE weekend extravaganza.
In Perth.
In Perth, yes. We're going to kick this off with the big paid live event because I think talking about all the matchups and everything going on in that part of the world will get us caught up to speed on most of the wrestling conversation that's happening right now. But if you just go to the WWE website right now and go to the Crown Jewel Perth website, show website, you will find a list of matches. So we're going to just go one by one through these and talk about them for a second and give our usual predictions. I am so excited. I love doing the predictions segment, Nika. It is probably one of my favorite. And we do quite well in these.
Yeah.
The baseball ones have not been so great this year.
Well, we started doing baseball predictions a little later.
Yeah, but even so, we watched a lot of baseball this year, and we came up way on the wrong side of things, including with most recently with the Yankees. We both picked the Yankees over the Blue Jays. Oops. All right, we have Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion, taking on Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This is the Crown Jewel Men's Championship matchup, and Nika, we have a lot of history between these two men that's come out in the past couple weeks. We've seen it most recently playing out on Raw with a highly dramatic situation between Seth Rollins and his manager, Paul Heyman, unfolding. And basically, Seth Rollins kind of asking the question, what happens if I lose to Cody Rhodes? And Paul Heyman forced to give him the unfiltered truth, I guess, basically that like you're going to lose the locker room with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and I'm going to start questioning if I made the right decision or not to ally myself with you. So the cold, hard truth finally gets delivered to Seth Rollins in this sort of moment of what should we call this, full disclosure?
I guess. Full disclosure by Paul Heyman.
Full disclosure. This is the facts, Jack. Lay it out on the line. Having said all that, I feel like this is a red herring. That this whole like conversation happening and all the, we saw this whole history and drama and of course the 3-0, that Seth Rollins has never defeated Cody Rhodes one-on-one.
Not in the paid live events. He has not.
We don't know the whole dark match history, and we're not here to dig all that up. But yeah, that is the one thing that gives me pause in this. Like everything's set up for Cody Rhodes to go in there and win because then you get all this new drama, right? That they just teased. However, I think it's just too premature for that.
I think so. And also Seth Rollins' vision hasn't been fully realized.
I agree.
So we don't really know what goes into his vision, but I think the fact that he hasn't won in 3 matches against Cody, it gives him an upper leg for a win.
Yes, don't get me wrong. I do think that scene that Paul Heyman painted is going to come true one day.
Oh yeah,
and it's not going to be too far in the future.
No,
but it's not happening now. This was all just a red herring to get us to start to think about that and to expect maybe Cody Rhodes to win, only for Seth to win.
Absolutely.
Seth will find a way to win this match, and I think this might be the one. I don't know for sure about that, but Cody Rhodes challenged Seth Rollins very early on in this promo period to sort of defeat him on his own this time, like if he can. Like he asked like who's coming to the ring with you when we wrestle and stuff. So he sort of laid out that challenge, like beat me on your own, Seth Rollins.
He did.
Is this the moment we see Seth do that?
I don't know. I don't know if he will win on his own. I don't think the Vision is gonna come in and help him out. They have their own stuff they gotta do. I have somebody else in mind that might step in and not necessarily help Seth, but disrupt or be a part of the match that helps Seth at the end.
Interesting. So why don't you lay that out for people?
I think Randy Orton's going to show up and interfere in some way, to whether talking to the ref or just making him available.
We heard whispers about this at WrestlePalooza, that there was going to, be a storyline involving Randy Orton possibly interfering in the Cody Rhodes matchup and helping Drew McIntyre win the championship.
And I think because Randy Orton wants the belt. He wants to be a champion.
He wants to be champion too. Is he here to remind Cody that, like, just because we're friends
or you are my protege or whatever
doesn't mean I don't want what you have still.
Right.
Interesting. I wouldn't hate this, especially because I think Randy Orton is not the youngest pup in the back
shed.
room in the shed. Yeah, I guess, but like, you want to see all these guys get their victory laps in their careers and stuff. And you don't know how much shelf life they have left. But a Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, like, headlining WrestleMania match would sell.
Absolutely.
And if this is the start of that storyline, I buy it.
Even if Randy Orton is a champ for 4 minutes, just like CM Punk, it's something.
Yes. However, is this enough for Seth to keep the locker room with Paul Heyman and stuff? I wonder if it's going to be more like win by any means necessary without any help,
Sure, but
And I just go back to that Cody Rhodes challenging him to do this on his own. So I'm going to keep my prediction as no interference from Randy Orton, but I like where your head's at. And if I'm wrong, I could totally see where they're going with everything. So it will be fun either way.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the Bronson Breaker and Braun Breaker.
No, they're not. And like you said,
in.
they have a little bit of their own thing going on. So, all right. Well, let's move on to one of the other significant men's matches here. We have AJ Styles and John Cena getting it on. And this is, according to my research. Now, I want to point out, we talked about this matchup a while ago, and we talked about this being a big push opportunity for AJ Styles. And some of you in the comments laughed us out of the building. I understand where you're coming from now. Apologies. Again, this is our, disclaimer announcement for the episode, but we have not been watching WWE for very long. I missed over 20 years of WWE, and you are brand new.
I'm just a puppy.
And so we're just reacting to what we see. And unfortunately, AJ Styles has been sort of used as a gimmicky character, I feel like, for the entire time we've been watching. He had a whole summer-long feud with Dominic Mysterio where he was basically the brunt of the, not the brunt of the joke, but he was just like a comedy.
I know, and it was fun.
It was fun. He was really good at it. It was great. But as far as like these headlining matches and like these bigger goals and like Cena had, we didn't know. So
we did it.
Now that I know that this is a rubber match, Nika. This is a big rubber match. They've faced each other 4 times.
Okay.
In their history. And according to what I read, one was a Money in the Bank in 2016, followed by a SummerSlam in 2016. And then I think it was Royal Rumble 2017. It was like a trilogy of matches in within a calendar year. So they definitely had a big feud back in the day.
But that was over close to 10 years ago.
Yes, 2016, 2017. And then they had a 4th match in 2018. So the record now stands at 2-2.
Okay.
John Cena's won twice, and AJ Styles has won twice. So we have this rubber match. This kind of came out of nowhere. It doesn't feel like there's any big dramatic storyline here other than we're going to get a good wrestling match. And that's why I predict this is going to be the opening match on the card.
Yes.
2 experienced veterans who know how to work a crowd. You're going to get that huge pop for Cena, of course, right out of the gate.
Yes.
And probably AJ Styles as well, being
He's
not the
known.
biggest star, but he is a big international wrestling star. So it being in an international location, I fully expect this to be the opening match on the ticket. Everybody.
He does have a good hair. He loves his hair, and he has really nice hair.
It is phenomenal.
It's
no
a
pun
phenomenal
intended.
hair. Yeah, absolutely. And
No pun intended.
I have to agree with you. It will be the most likely first match for that.
Absolutely. So anyways, and this match was by request of the fans. Another reason for them to kick it off. I'm not sure what the voting population of that tally came from Australia, but the WWE community weighed in on John Cena's Twitter post about who should I fight next, AJ Styles ? And they were all like, yeah, we want the rubber match.
So wait, you have to go to Twitter to vote? Because I want to vote.
It's over. It's long over.
I know, but the next one.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be another thing like that. This was like a one-off thing that he did.
Okay. And who are you taking in that match?
Oh, I'm taking Cena.
Me too.
Yeah.
Cena, it's his going away tour, so I
feel
it has
he wins
to be
the
him.
rubber match. Sorry, AJ Styles. You can win your rubber match when it happens on your going away tour.
Next year.
Maybe coming soon.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. Well, it's time to talk about the women, Nika. And we love our WWE women here at the Kanika Sports Show. And two of our favorites are going head to head in the Crown Jewel Championship match. The WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, against the WWE Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer, laprimera, the
Dark
Angel, and the giver of the Devil's Kiss.
Against the most prettiest moonsault.
Against the world's prettiest moonsault. Indeed, this is one of my favorite matches on the card, just because you have two women that I feel like are both in the prime of their wrestling abilities that are going to be doing this crown jewel matchup. And that is what the women's division needed.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like Naomi would have done well here too.
Sure.
She's good as well.
Sure.
But different styles. And I love that Stephanie brings that international flavor to this international event.
Absolutely. And those are the two biggest stars or breakout stars for WWE in the last 12 months.
Yeah. And Tiffany, of course, is bringing in like this big undefeated streak since she's become champion. Meanwhile, Stephanie Vaquer has risen quickly through the ranks, I would say, since being called up to Raw.
She's got the momentum.
This spring, summer at some point. She is hugely popular, though.
She is.
We know this from our own channel.
Yes.
She is tough to keep at bay.
She is very popular, and she has the momentum on her side.
I really love this match. It's a tough one to choose from, but there is a big red herring for me going into this, and that is Tiffany Stratton's undefeated streak. I feel like it's in jeopardy here.
Yes.
And I think Stephanie's going to win because this is one of those situations where Tiffany can lose and have a dramatic event happen as a result, like her undefeated streak ends and she doesn't get this crown jewel ring. And something that she probably wants, especially as a woman. Do you think the ring matters more to the woman or the man in the crown jewel?
Oh, it's like a Super Bowl ring.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, look at me.
Yeah, I take the ring.
Yeah. And I just feel like that undefeated streak can be ended here without her losing the belt.
Right.
And that's a good way of ending it without her suffering like really any consequences other than not getting a new piece of jewelry.
Right, because the belts are not on the line. Stephanie's been hot and popular right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the odds are in her favorite.
I'm taking Stephanie to win this matchup and go on.
To reign for a little longer?
Well, she's going to, she's not going to lose the belt like you said now, but I feel like she's going to win this matchup and emerge victorious. I don't know what that does, but they're on different brands. Stephanie's on Raw and Tiffany's on SmackDown, so I don't really see a long-term feud with these two going forward. No. This is a great opportunity, though, for them to have their first matchup of what I hope is many.
Yes.
And I do hope they, rekindle a longer feud at some point in the future, but I don't think that this is now.
I don't think so either, but I'm with you. Stephanie is for the win.
Stephanie for the win. Is she going to get a pin or is she going to do that somersault again off the rope?
I don't know. I hope so.
They have kind of competing moves, Tiffany has the prettiest moonsault, but Stephanie unveiled that new finisher from the top rope in the last paid live event that had like that twisting DDT thing. I don't remember what it was now, but it was awesome.
It was awesome. I'm sure she will bring it in.
Yeah.
You got to.
Well, go Stephanie. Yep. No offense to Tiffany, our other favorite. Speaking of favorites in the women's division, we got a huge women's tag team matchup, Nika, and that is between Rhea Ripley, Mame, and Io Sky, who was finally pushed over the brink by Asuka after being misted, and Kairi Sane, her puppet. They are going head to head with Mommy and Io Sky. So
Pirate Princess.
yeah, this matchup had a lot of drama building up to it. I feel like this goes back to pretty much almost right after SummerSlam, right?
There was
some
drama,
petty disagreements happening backstage, and like I remember Kairi Sane and Asuka like spying on Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, like
in that hallway somewhere, backstage.
And, like, what are they up to? And like, so this has been building for a while. And then the misting though, this came out of nowhere recently. This whole violent turn by Asuka, she really went full heel.
Yes, she did.
And Kairi Sane with her right now as her like puppet, and she's totally under Asuka control.
Yes.
I like this matchup. I think this is a great addition to this card. And obviously we got some hometown favorites here with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley being on the Australian side of the world. And then, of course, we have a Japan show coming up soon as well. So I expect all 4 of these women to be involved in that.
Absolutely.
And anyways, I am, what are you thinking as far as like who's going to win the paid live event matchup here between these two?
Between these tag teams, I will take Rhea Ripley and Io Sky because it's her home field advantage on this one.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for Babyface to win. I think it's time for those two to have a win.
I do too. They both have been sort of, I don't know if injured is the right way to put it, but humiliated, right? By Asuka with the mist lately. You know, they both got the spray job. So I feel like, not only having the home field advantage, but that part of it too. Like the writing suggests this is Rhea and Io's match to win.
Now, will somebody interfere? Or would somebody switch sides? Because it is like a family feud.
I could see that happening. You know, I'm a little bit hesitant because it feels early to me, but at the same time, it is going to be this like inflection point probably with the drama. So if anything happens, it will involve Kairi and her
that too.
Switching allegiances and going with Io and leaving Asuka. And who knows where that leaves Asuka, but probably in a dark place.
I know.
So,
but she's a great heel.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So,
absolutely. I don't know if that's going to happen now or in the future because it seems like a lot of our predictions were just a little bit too early with them sometimes.
We are a little too early.
Yeah. But you know, I don't foresee any like long-term tag team here with Rhea and Io. This is a one-off, and this is for the crown jewel because neither one of them are involved in the women's world championship matchup. Stephanie won,
right?
And they don't really have a feud going forward. I would be more. I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Vaquer get into it on Raw the night after and start a new storyline heading into the fall and winter.
That seems to be the pattern of the paid live events. The next day, the next Raw, it's always new storylines developing.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll wait and see what all of the fallout is from that. All right, well, we got one more men's matchup to get to here on the card, and that is a rematch from Paris, Nika. The Tribal Chief against the Tribal Thief.
Ooh,
acknowledge your Tribal Thief, Nika.
So OTC have to acknowledge the Tribal Thief.
Yeah, his
That's
OTT.
That's the prize.
The OTC acknowledges the OTT.
Oh, I like it. Jeez.
Yeah, and well, I don't know. This is now given raised stakes with a Australian street fight rules. I assume this is similar to the bar house rules. Whatever, just whatever.
Whatever they want.
I wonder what the Australian props are going to be. Are there going to be any Foster's cans? Maybe
some kangaroos.
Oh, some Joeys. Maybe some boxing gloves.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay, cool. Interesting. Well, this matchup was added after Raw, after Roman Reigns challenged the OTT to a matchup, and this is where it's happening, Nika. Anything out of the ordinary that we're predicting to go down here? I mean, last time Roman Reigns got carried out on a stretcher when these two met and went to the hospital. We've also seen some drama with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and the three knuckleheads, as I'm calling them these days. That being CM Punk.
Oh, these two.
And LA Knight. and Jey Uso have been kind of feuding, and so does any of that carry into this matchup
I don't
somehow?
know. Are they coming over to Australia as well? Because I haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah, we do know CM Punk is going to Australia.
Okay.
And so maybe this is a good time to get into this. Do we predict? I kind of predict that there's going to be a triple threat matchup added, possibly either to the Crown Jewel itself or to the Raw the night after.
Okay.
But before we get there, let's talk about the Tribal Thief and the Tribal Chief because we haven't predicted the outcome of their matchup yet. So who do you think is going to win, I guess, this matchup, this rematch? Is there any predictions at all for it?
Yeah, I will go, Does Roman Reigns have any movies to shoot afterwards? Or I mean, he's a part-timer, so who knows?
Yeah, but he just came back again, and I feel like they can't keep shuttling him in and out like this to have dramatic returns. He's got to be on the show for a while now.
Yeah. Then with that being said, I would take OTC because he lost last time. He needs some kind of a win, and the crowd gets into it too.
Absolutely. I hope this is the beginning of the end of this feud, actually. You know, it's gone on for quite a while. We saw at SummerSlam, it was Jey Uso and Roman Reigns against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And then at Paris, it was Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed. And now they skip WrestlePalooza, but Crown Jewel, it's Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed again. So hopefully this is, like I said, maybe closer to the end of this feud because Roman Reigns is one of the biggest stars in the game. And I'm sure he wants to be champion too at some point. And there's a couple of people out there that are going to need challengers like Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
I'll be curious to see who Roman Reigns gets into it with first because I just don't see if he is the top dog in the WWE still, the biggest draw, then, you know, if he's not a champion, then they're losing out, right?
Oh, I don't know necessarily if they are losing out, but he does have a beef with Seth, and then he has a beef with Cody.
I feel like he's going to go after Cody because he knows Jey is wanting to go after Seth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm thinking the other way because Seth used to be part of a Shield that was part of the Bloodline and OTC groupies.
I get it. And he stole Heyman from him. I mean, I just wonder what that does to Jey Uso then and Roman Reigns and their relationship. But it's interesting. It's fascinating. You bring up some good points, Nika. I'm not going to lie there.
Well, the writers have to figure this out.
All right. Well, okay. Who are you taking in this matchup to win? You taking Roman Reigns?
I'm going to take Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm going to take Roman Reigns too, especially if it's kind of like the end of this feud.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets his shoes back. All of them.
Oh, but I thought he got his shoes back.
Yeah, I don't remember if he got all of them back.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'm messing around. Come on, play around with me.
All right.
All right, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso are having this three-way feud the last few weeks on Raw because they all want to be the number one contender. Neither of them were able to pin Seth Rollins at WrestlePalooza. I'm sorry, at the Paris.
Okay.
And so obviously we saw Becky Lynch interfere and cost CM Punk in his mind. And we saw the whole AJ Lee return, and we saw the mixed match at WrestlePalooza. And now here we are. CM Punk comes out on Raw the other night. He wants another shot at the World Championship. LA Knight feels like he's due another shot at the World Championship. And Jey Uso's like, I never got my rematch with Gunther. So this leads me to believe that there's unresolved business here. And I feel like they have to have a triple threat match, and one of them needs to emerge as the new front runner for Seth Rollins. And I feel like this is a big enough matchup to happen at the next paid live at Crown Jewel, but I'm giving pause because Crown Jewel's in 2 days and they haven't announced this matchup yet, and that would mean that they would have to announce it on SmackDown, and none of these performers are on SmackDown. So I'm feeling like this maybe gets pushed to Raw on Monday night because they're still on tour and they still need to deliver a big show in Australia on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, so you think that might get pushed to Raw?
I think it might be the main event on Raw on Monday night, and that this all gets kind of comes to a head then. And we get a new number one contender for Seth Rollins' championship. And
that makes sense.
So we'll wait and see, I guess, if this matchup comes to fruition. But just indulge me for a second. And if it does, who would you predict would be coming out as the new number one contender here? CM Punk, LA Knight, or Jey Uso?
I'm going to pick LA Knight.
Really?
Because he hasn't had the championship yet.
Okay. I'm going to go with CM Punk.
Okay.
I think that this is going to be the beginning of their continued feud, but basically the road to WrestleMania will continue. Like, I think CM Punk will... I don't know if he'll get a championship match before then or not. Yeah, I don't know. You bring up a good point. I've always felt like CM Punk would wrestle Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 42.
Okay.
So if he wins the number one contendership now, it would be a little bit early for that because he'd have to probably have that opportunity well before the next, 7 months. So having said that, I'm going to take Jey Uso.
Okay.
To have the number one contendership, but I'm going to pick that he never wins the belt from Seth Rollins.
Oh, I see. So he just has potential to win, but nothing to show for it.
He's going to fall short. And, I don't know if that will push him deeper into the madness. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good strategy.
Because we've seen a darker side of him lately. And I feel like it's going to be such a hard heel turn for him with how popular he is, especially with kids.
But look what's going on with Dominic Mysterio. He's very popular.
With kids?
Oh, okay.
I don't see kids yeeting with Dominic Mysterio.
Never mind.
So
I take it back.
All right. Well, we do know, like I said, CM Punk is going to Australia. So I would expect either way him to do some wrestling down there. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was in this sort of triple threat match. So speaking of that rivalry, though, there is another half to Seth Rollins that we haven't talked about. And that is Becky Lynch, who lost on Monday Night Raw to Maxine Dupree, of all people. Now, this was a disqualification due to countout. So Becky Lynch did not lose the Women's Intercontinental Championship to Maxine Dupree. Thank God.
That's
but
not happening.
The way that this happened and the performance, the theatrical performance by Becky Lynch throughout this match, not just the wrestling performance, but the theatrical performance is top notch. She continues to be a great heel, and the way she lost this match, celebrating on the announcer's table and the referee not enjoying her particular brand of wrestling, I guess, counted her out really fast as Maxine rolled into the ring, and she got the win, an embarrassment to Becky Lynch, and she sells it so well. The embarrassment, the gloating, every aspect of her character, she does it top notch.
Yes.
And I just appreciate it. So this was my Becky Lynch appreciation segment.
Nice.
Yes.
But she doesn't have any matches coming up.
She does not.
Not announced yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
We did see Sol Ruka on SmackDown with Zarya get a tag team win in the women's division, Nika. This was over Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. No sign of Piper Niven. Not sure where she's at, but
I think she's injured.
It's happened.
I think she's physically really injured.
Yeah, I think so too.
I can't look it up right now because of the computer situation here. So,
all right. Well, before we get to Crown Jewel, we actually have an episode of SmackDown happening, like we said, and that is happening in Australia as well. And I believe it's happening at like 5 a.m. in the morning Pacific time. Thanks to Kel Now Wrestling, we know 4 of the matches that are happening on SmackDown tomorrow night. And surprise, surprise, Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer are taking on Julia and Kiana James in women's tag team action. Now, this stems back to SmackDown when they had the contract signing last week, and we saw Julia and Kiana so rudely interrupt that moment. I forgot that this matchup was kind of, I think, already announced. So that's when it happened on the SmackDown last week, and this will be a warm-up match for Tiffany and Stephanie for the Crown Jewel. Now, any predictions on who's going to win this matchup, Nika?
I think it will be undecided.
I think Tiffany and Stephanie are going to get a win here.
Or that, sure.
It's fan service the night before the premium
it's
live
a warm
event.
up, like you said.
Exactly.
It's a warm up match.
But if you have an opportunity to play theme music twice, it's going to be for Tiffany or Stephanie.
Yes.
That's where I tend to always go in these predictions. All right. Well, we have a last man standing match, Nika.
Oh.
Between Damian Priest and Aleister Black. This rivalry's been building for a little while. I feel like this was a weak opponent for Damian Priest after he took out Drew McIntyre all the way back in May, I think it was. Drew McIntyre gets to come back and have a rivalry with Cody Rhodes, and Damian Priest gets relegated to Aleister Black.
Well,
that seems fair. Who are you taking in this matchup?
I'm going to... Damian Priest.
I'm taking Damian Priest as well. No offense to Aleister Black. I just feel like Damian Priest is a bigger star here right now, if you can even call him that, the way he's been used. But
yeah,
hopefully WWE finds a place to use him better in the future.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. We have Sami Zayn, of course, with the ongoing open challenge on SmackDown. He's had quite a few great challengers so far, including Javon Evans, which we predicted to happen. Any question as to who he might be fighting this week? Any predictions?
I don't know, because they can come out from NXT. They can be from another minor leaguers, like we saw from Javon Evans.
Yeah.
So I really don't know who they're gonna throw in his way.
Yeah.
Sammy. I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like, though, that there's an opportunity for somebody bigger to come in this matchup. Uh-oh, you just had a thought. What are you thinking?
What about Jacob Fatu?
I was thinking the same thing. That's so crazy, because I was like, they need someone bigger name, and Jacob hasn't gotten his rematch yet. And I think this might be the moment. And
he needs a little warm-up match.
Yeah, and this is both a couple of people that this could be the kickoff matchup, tomorrow to get the crowd revved up. And we got a couple experienced performers. And, I think we need to see the shake. We need to see Jacob do his Tasmanian Devil thing.
Absolutely.
Down in the Australian Down Under.
It's fitting.
I know.
Tasmanian Devil, New Zealand. Come on.
Australia. I predict it will be Sami Zayn versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. And if that happens, Nika, who do you think will win?
I want Jacob Fatu to win.
I think Jacob might win as well. It's possible we will have a new United States champion heading out of here, and what a roundabout circle that would be.
That would be cool.
I'll take it. All right, one more SmackDown match that we know of is the WWE Tag Team Championships are on the line. The Wyatt Six putting it up against the Street Profits. The Street Profits earned this opportunity through multiple weeks of SmackDown challenges, and now here we are. I just don't see the Wyatts losing the belt to the Street Profits. So who knows? But if there's any upset to be had, I think it might be here.
Okay.
I don't expect it. No, I mean, good point. Yeah, no, I changed my mind.
Okay.
You talked me out of it. That was quick.
Okay.
Quick, down, dirty, and easy. All right. Well, that's everything we know that's happening down in Australia, and a little bit of some predictions for maybe a possible triple threat match that we don't know about yet with LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. Keep a lookout for that.